I get mine.
Okay. Good evening. It's March 17th. This is our city council meeting. With that, we'll call roll to call.
Mayor Eckhorst,
Here.
Councilor Pendergrass,
Here.
Councilor Phillips,
Here.
Councilor Riceharper,
Here.
Councilor Spring.
Here.
We've got Joe here, Mike is not present, myself, Kane. I think this. Oh, we showed up. And Rachel.
All right, so we have a form. Next item is our approval of the agenda.
Yes. Hey, well, approve the agenda,
Go ahead.
make motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Any amendments or anything? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approve the agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved. A 3-minute time limit is our public forum tonight. City Council welcomes and encourages participation from community members. Please keep in mind that your comments must be pertinent to city business and must adhere to data privacy rules. No employees' names may be used. Please do not expect action from the council this evening regarding your concerns. To address the city council during public forum, please step up to the podium, state your name, address, and fill out the white form provided. Speakers will be recognized only once. Will be timed. Begin speaking with the green card is raised. The yellow card indicates you have 30 seconds left, and the red card indicates you have reached your 3-minute time limit. With that, the public forum will open at 6:32. Anybody would like to speak, please come over to us.
Hi, I'm Kay Lovett. My address is 7212 117th Street Northwest, Orinoco. I'm not actually a citizen of the city of Orinoco. I'm here tonight because a month ago you were talking about funding for age-friendly Orinoco area, and there were some concerns about where we were getting our funding sources. And so I'm here tonight to kind of clear up if you still have some questions. You have a letter in your packet that tried to clarify where the funding sources came from. So that's why I'm here. I just want to make sure that you have the corrected views.
That's on page 8 is what Kathleen's referring to, so. I thought the letter memo was very clear in your comment, and I personally have not heard of any anything of a concern, I guess, so I hope that's, unless some council members have something else to share. So, all right, thank you very much.
Joy Bertsinger, Southwest Orinoco. I've given my address on the sheet. I did send a letter to Jason Baker last week, and you should have probably got it. I see it today. I know that the council has been going through a big process looking at the planning and zoning, and I appreciate all the hours that you put in. I was part of the steering committee, so I know the hours you put in, okay? I just know that there has been some comments made that residents over the age of 65 in Orinoco only make up 10% of the residents in Orinoco. However, in the 2020 census, it's actually closer to 30%. And also there's been comments that it's just residents here, the majority are families with young children. That's incorrect. If you look at, it's called the City of Orinoco 2024 Community Engagement Report. It actually shows that it's almost an even number for the people that responded. I know you're planning. I know there's some planning coming up with lots that are looking maybe for the 65 or older. And I just hope that when you're looking at the planning, the zoning, the lot sizes, that you take that into consideration. So, thank you for your time.
Good evening, council and mayor. My name is Kevin McDermott. Former mayor and council member here in the city. And I just want to kind of reaffirm what Joy had talked about. I'm a part of that age-friendly Orinoco area, and it's become quite apparent to me that as we get older, especially people who live here in this community, more and more of us, and I guess I gotta talk for myself, but want to stay here. And I want to see, that older generation as unless they decide to move south or go somewhere else, have a place to live here. And that may include downsizing to a smaller home, smaller lot. And so I just ask that as you all are in your planning process, that you keep that in mind, because there's a growing number of us that love this community, have spent a lot of time here. And we just really want to see, like Joyce said, beautiful lots and the beautiful neighborhoods, and they're huge and they're gorgeous. But we need to take a look at the older generation and people that want to stay here but downsize a little bit. So as you're planning and going through your planning process, I ask that you really look at areas that can be fit in there with one level homes, or I can't remember the gentleman that was here last year that's talking about a subdivision that it's all on one slab. That's a beautiful opportunity, I believe, for this community. I would like to see. I was pretty impressed with. I came to that meeting and saw his plans, and I was pretty impressed with how that came about. And I hope to see that we can get some of those things done for this older generation. So thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you. Second call for public forum.
Stephen Garland, 845 First Street Northwest. As you know, I have a concern about the Phase 1A water project and the easement agreements. But I'd like to remind council and all city employees, and I'll share what happened. A week and a half ago, about 8 a.m. in the morning, I got a knock on my front door. And I looked out the window and two individuals were in safety vests. And I thought they were there to help get this easement agreement all taken care of. That was not the reason. The reason was for an entirely different project. So in my opinion, those city's employees, which I like both of those individuals, had no right to be parked their truck, a city truck, in my driveway, come down, walk onto my deck, and knock on my door. Okay. That's part of the reason why I want this easement agreement defined and narrowed down instead of the blanket easement, is to permit, not to permit these individuals from now until eternity to come on my home. And I know they had a list of names that they were going to, and I'm sure some of them were in my neighborhood. But I'd like to make that to council and make it to the Public Works Department that, then I asked the individual if he says, I'm a homeowner like you. I have a large piece of property like yours. I would never go on. I wouldn't appreciate somebody coming on my property without knowledge. Well, guess what? They did. That he should at least make a phone call, and they did not make a phone call to tell me they were coming out. So make that clear. Thank you.
Third and final call. All right, we'll close the public forum at 6:41. All right. Well, there is a sheriff's call. I don't see him in the room here, so we can't respond to anything, questions we might have. Next item was the age-friendly council letter, I think. That you had responded to, so. There was a,
This is in addition to Joyce, isn't
that was the same.
It's the same thing.
Oh. Next item, I guess, is the fire department. Fire department was, Johan had a memo. Council report, on page 9. Any questions from that? Kind of explains the background, what's happened over the last couple of months, their training. And I do have a question about the walkthrough for Arborist of Rochester. Which building is that? That Adams building or whose building is that?
So it's a bull shed that's up off of Fifth Avenue, Fifth Street, sorry, up north of that. So Adam Haney is the owner of that. So yeah, just our continued. It's great to have a pre-plan for all the area businesses, local businesses, and even residents if they want that. Keeps us better prepared for response. So
You have a punch list that you ask of that business owner?
it's about 6 pages.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I can totally provide that to you guys too, if you want to see the items that we're asking for.
I'm glad to hear that. That provides consistency and getting your information that you're looking for. Any other questions to Johan about that report? Okay. There's a controlled grass burn memo in Riverwood Hills Park. Is that in the packet? Did anybody see that?
That was from last year that we were I think they were gonna do it.
Tried to do it, yet, but it got too wet and too green too quick, so there is a memo in there, they wanna do a controlled burn, in Riverwood Hills. Hopefully when all the snow melts, maybe, but it would,
And where's that at?
Riverwood Hills Park. By the
No,
drainage
okay,
field,
Up in the packet here.
oh, it's in there, I'm writing diligence, so
It's on page Right 9, after the on the last actual page 9.
Page where?
9.
yeah, it's right after Johan's.
I'm sorry.
Report.
Was that?
I think Johan had something in his report too about that, so it's
Yes,
more
okay,
just for
yeah.
awareness. I think they have all the
I got,
DNR. Things are done. They're just waiting for timeline, I think here. It's just an awareness and the conversation with some of the Parks and Trails Committee was making sure that we let the residents know there's an HOA email that we could use to let them know it will be happening hopefully, and then when it gets closer, to let them know kind of the exact day, just so that they have that awareness, because there's homes all around it and the park right there. So just so they have that awareness.
I do have another question for Johan. Since we're on the fire department stuff, you know, you took care of the DOT stuff
Yes.
on them trucks. But there was expressed concern before about having a leak on the tanker. Has that been taken care of or have you got estimates on it?
Yep, both tankers had issues. One was something with the air brakes, so there's a leak in the airlines and.
That's the DOT part.
Yep, and that, so they,
I thought we had an issue with a water leak.
that has been somewhat remedied. It's holding water right now, so. No, the DOT part, all those things have been taken care of. We actually did have tanker one go down to Fire Safety USA to have that get fixed. It's just easier in the shop than up at our station. So, yeah.
Understood. Okay, thank you. We're getting back to your comments about the communication to citizens.
Yep.
That's Riverwood Hills, HOA.
Yep.
Would be aware of it.
Yeah, and then we could put something on Facebook too, but just trying to over communicate for that. So one, people have an awareness that it's happening, that it's managed and controlled. And to maybe try to keep them out of there.
So when, and Johan, maybe this is a question for you. When you do a burn like this of that size, do you have a set level of zero wind blow or wind? How do you keep the smoke
I'm
from?
just gonna stay there.
You look for a -15 day and no wind probably, right?
Right, yeah, so ideal conditions, right, would be little to no wind, wind out of the north, or northeast. So it's blowing away from residents' homes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our ideal. So in that too, when I presented to Parks and Trails, I had a couple page long memo of, kind of safety things, and one of that was weather conditions. Which is something that going over with the DNR as well, they're, these are ideal. Could there be a little bit of a wind? Sure. But we'll make sure that we wet down areas, around the perimeter. I'm gonna work with Kane and Public Works to see what we can do about, mowing real short around some of the areas as well. So once, that fire line won't travel into where we don't want it to go. So.
Okay, but that hasn't been done until snow's going.
Nope. We're kind of hoping.
We thought about last
Gonna
fall.
control buffer in the snow.
So
It's pretty controlled.
It's called a delay.
Yeah, so again, it's weather dependent, and then it's, kind of rain and other precipitation dependent. We want to hit it before it gets, start burning it before it gets green.
Okay.
So, yeah, so TBD, but again, like Marie said, we're going to over communicate. So from, the city webpage, city socials, fire department socials, right? Email groups for the homeowners associations, we're gonna be over communicative.
So you guys can just notify the association, they let whoever else know.
Well, I think that and Facebook too, so people are aware of what's going on, so.
And there's a couple associations that we're gonna try to get to, so there's, two kind of back up against that. The park itself.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Any more questions for fire department? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Next item is resolution 2026-07, a resolution accepting fire relief equipment donations from 2025. This is for a new 2024 Can-Am model, all-terrain vehicle.
I
Go ahead.
make a motion to accept resolution 2026-07.
I'll second it.
Good. So the question I have is that, what's the plan with the current six-wheeler that you have?
You guys have it. The city's got it. It's out at the wastewater treatment plant is where it's sitting at. This was a new one with the old ones over there. They donated it to the city.
So we got,
This is officially accepting the donation for the one we currently have. There was never a
Oh, okay.
resolution done for the acceptance of that vehicle.
I read it as being a new one. so-
Yeah.
No, this is,
2024 here.
yeah, so.
That's fine.
This is all for insurance purposes, isn't it?
Yes.
Exactly. It's on the rules and everything. Any other comments? Seeing none, this is a voice vote.
Mayor Ackworth,
Aye.
Councilor Pendergrass,
Right.
Councilor Risedorfer,
I,
Councilor Phillips,
Aye.
Councilor Spring.
Aye.
Next item is resolution 2026-08, accepting the 10% gambling monies from Orinoco Relief for $501.77.
Motion. Oh, go ahead.
Make a motion to accept resolution number 2026-08.
Second it.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, voice vote please.
Mayor Horst,
Aye.
Counselor Pendergrass. Hey. Counselor Reisdorfer,
Aye.
Counselor Phillips.
Aye.
Counselor Spring.
Aye.
First responder report.
I see in these resolutions, since we're on them, there's no place to jot down the motion maker in the second.
It's done at the top of the.
I looked there too.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Parks and Trails. Payne has a memo regarding portable restrooms in 2026.
You have first responders next or not?
Was there any action in it? I mentioned
No, I
it there.
missed, it was just. It's fine.
Okay. Kane, on the portable restrooms, if I may ask, have you considered Porta Pros?
We have not. LRS and Onsite, those are the two that I contacted this year. LRS is the one that supports Gold Rush. Had really good luck with them. They're good service.
Okay.
Kind of local. Deal about one or maybe two people, so they've been the most economical in the past, and this year they are too.
Okay. Just an FYI, we're looking at them for Gold Rush, mainly because they offer servicing at night,
Oh,
not during the day like everybody else has, LRS on site.
sure.
And it was very competitive price too.
You know, the other company I contacted was Affordable Portables.
Yeah, the Kenyon or. Dutch.
Yeah, I think they're kind of limited.
Yes.
So I did contact three. I've been in contact with them over the years, so LRS still kind of the most value there.
I have no problem. They were very competitive to what we found from Porta Pros, but just service aspect for us that.
Servicing at night.
Plus. Okay. I make a motion, we approve. Operating LRS. For the 2026 park rentals.
I'll second that.
Any other comments or questions?
What did we budget for that?
1 second.
A whole lot different than in years past.
Okay.
What was the question?
I asked him what we budgeted for that. So if we're within budget for that 5248.
If you give me 1 second, I'm just signing into
Okay.
BSNA right
Okay.
now. I'll get it right to you.
Okay.
Bear with me. It is in the budget. I'll get you that number here very shortly. How's that?
Sounds fair.
Thank you.
The LRS bid was for $5,248. So.
Mhm.
Sounds good. All right.
So do we need to vote on that?
Yes, we should. There was a spreadsheet that was in your packet too,
Yeah.
showing the breakdown.
Page 16. Showed onsite and.
16, yeah. Just looking here at,
See, one's got a cheaper delivery charge. Maybe we get one to deliver them, the other one to clean them.
Yeah.
well, I think.
Gotta keep it light.
Since I have seen what Kane's proposing to us, so
I
I'll make a motion.
don't see a reason we don't.
If there's no other comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose. Right, thank you.
7,000.
Okay.
7,000 budgeted.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next item is approving the paving of the trails and, that's tied in with our, street maintenance program too, to include with the paving, so we can,
I'll make a motion to approve the part, paving of the trails.
I'll second that.
so we should maybe identify
One and two.
path number 2.
We're gonna get bids on path number 2 and then Orinoco Park. As Lions Club is interested in contributing some of that, so I think within our CIP funds, depending on bids, we could do both. And then we'll ask for the Riverwood Hills Park, the path 1, in CIP for 2027. So we'll do it in two phases.
You do number one option next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2 actually goes by the park and it already connects to pave pass, so it makes sense to do that versus the first one, because that kind of goes to nowhere. So we'll do 1 next year if we can get that in the budget.
It goes to nowhere if number 2 isn't paid
Correct.
first.
Yeah.
So I also inquired about the Timberline Drive to Sixth Street.
Yeah.
And Joe put together some
Okay.
paving cost and a rocking cost.
Okay.
Um,
I saw that. Okay.
I recognize it's late, but at the same time, I don't know if we want to include that to see if we have a possibility of, if the bids come in, because it is going to be a bidding option type thing versus a contractor, so.
Yeah, we can get quotes if you'd like. I'm not real optimistic that oil prices are gonna help us out here, this year based on bituminous and fuel. But we'll see.
I think we should stick within what we have budgeted for it and leave it at that. I don't see going beyond the budget at this point.
We could bring that back to Parks and Trails too, and maybe we'd have some bids to know where we're at. Again, I don't know, we don't know exactly how much the Lions Club is willing to put into, so there could be additional money left to do some of those things, but right now, even I think with the 2, it will be tight.
Maybe we could use those numbers to offset next year's,
Yeah.
to reduce the cost of next year's end of it.
I have no problem with that. I'll share with you what Joe presented back to us. If we do an 8-foot gravel, 355 feet, it's $11,473. And, but if we just do the gravel, it's $9,178. So the $11,473 is with a 10% contingency and 15% engineering services. If we do the bituminous pathway, it's $23,306, but if we do the rock today, $11,000 this year, and next year, the paving would be $11,833, so.
That's of an additional trail to these 2, right?
Yes, it's a trail that's been, when we did phase 1A, it was part of an easement that we purchased from the county, I think it was, or state.
Steve Jack.
Yeah. So it's intended to be a path. We had citizens asking if they go to River Park from Timberline, this would be a path for them to go to River Park itself, the park work, so. It's just a thought, it's just if we're under budget, like optimistic thought, that we can do that, but what we've budgeted the 175,000, I think.
I think what Parks and Trails is also looking at is potential of getting grant funding. Even as we get bids, there may be opportunity to use that money as match money for some of those. Again, if we can find some, the more we can do. And then even with the park bench work, we want to make sure that we're not putting park benches that aren't paved, because there'll be rework and we might not want that trail to go that way. So again, I think we're trying to like stage gate it a little bit too. But I think that would be something that we should bring back to Parks and Trails to keep on their radar, because we might be able to get some grant money that could offset the
Sure.
big cost of these, and then maybe we could do more too.
Yeah, I think it was just FYI, but at the same time.
I can put that back on their agenda to talk about, yeah. We know we have a lot of trails to pave and a lot of parks to upkeep, so,
That's true.
yep.
So in the meantime, so in the meantime, we don't add that into this.
What's that?
So in the meantime, we don't add that into this cost.
No, we'll wait for next year. That's no problem. I think that's fine for the reasons that Marie mentioned, and there's a lot of things tied on parks and trails, so.
Give you opportunity to seek out.
So we'll forego a motion to approve the trail, but include that in with the next item, which is the paving. Because it's all kind of lumped together in the
Sure.
quote, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so the next item is the motion to approve our paving maintenance program, which includes streets as well as the paving of the pathway to Oracle Park. It's a memo from Joe on page 20. Outlining the cost, and Joey, if you want to speak to that.
I did put a memo together after speaking with city staff. You know, we really got kind of three pieces of the puzzle that we're looking at. One is the crack fill, seal coat and restriping that we've been talking about. That's about $224,000 worth of improvements. That's what the city budgeted for. That's what was in the pavement management plan for this year. That's really Fifth Street North, east is in Bennett Road, as well as the River Park subdivision streets. So that adds up pretty quick. The Fifth Street Bennett Road is a higher volume, higher speed roadway, and we do seal coat that, and we then fog seal it over top the seal coat, and then of course we have to restripe it all. So that one gets expensive. Those improvements are over $175,000. So we have to publicly advertise and bid that process, or bid that project. It takes longer to do that. So I would prepare plans and specs. I bring them back in April for the city council to review and authorize advertisement for bid. Then we immediately advertise those plans and specs for 3 weeks and hopefully get bids back to the city council in May for award consideration. So the process takes some time. The other piece of the puzzle really deals with miscellaneous pavement patches. I think everybody's aware of segments of pathway in the city that are problematic and need some attention. The city's got a $50,000 budget to do that work. We work with the streets committee to identify and prioritize what we can do within the budget allotted. And the other piece of the puzzle is the pathway work that we've been talking about. I apologize. I was just thinking that you had intended to have me look at the pathway in Riverwood Hills. So that's what I put a cost for. If we add the Orinoco Park project, that's fine too. I was thinking we'd maybe add about $3,500 in cost so we can kind of deal with that to what I've got in this for at least the engineering services component of it. So, and the thought process is that we would prepare plans and specs for that, send out the quote package. We don't have to advertise that because the total is under $175,000. But we would bring that back at the same time we bring back the seal coat package in May for award. And so hopefully then we get into that kind of that midsummer construction scenario where we'll get favorable bid prices, and obviously that's the ideal time to do all of this work. And so I put together this letter proposal to do that. The total engineering costs, I think, for the seal coat work totaled $16,366. For the pathway and street repair work totaled of $14,980. But if we do the Orinoco Park piece, I'd ask that you at least consider adding about $3,500. And I'd have to do the math on that quickly.
Got a quick question on that. You know, Riverwood Drive is really deteriorating quickly.
I,
Okay, how far are you gonna go with doing, you gonna redo the whole thing that there is? What were you gonna do?
well, I gotta look at it first. I think its condition probably is changing.
It's getting worse, yeah, because
Yeah.
it continues all the way up where the center part of that is going back through the first coat that there is, so it's bad.
It seems like it's delaminating. And so we'll have to evaluate it when the frost is out of the ground and make some decisions. But, you know, we really have some options there. You know, the cheap option would be seal coat, which is basically an aesthetic solution, probably not appropriate. The next option would be a mill and overlay or just a simple overlay. That's probably the route we'll go, but we'll have to evaluate that. And then the most expensive option would be to reclaim, grind it up and pave it again. But that would be probably 3 times the cost of the mill and overlay. So I think what I'd like
A
to.
mill and overlay to me would maybe work, okay, and that's kind of what I'm looking at, but there's so much traffic that goes through there, it's heavily trafficked, okay,
Has it slowed down at all?
no, it's getting worse,
No, I mean, has the traffic slowed down?
no.
So that didn't solve the problem.
That's why campgrounds don't fill holes, it slows the traffic down.
There's some truth to that.
It's gonna go right over, yeah.
So we'll kind of take a wait and see approach, but I think a mill and overlay approach would be a reasonable approach. But,
Yeah.
you know, the extent of that,
When you talk a milling, you're talking grinding it up as they go and laying it back down and.
yeah, there's two types of that. We could just simply do kind of a butt mill and then overlay everything. But if we continue to see delamination, I don't know that I would want to pave over pavement that's delaminating because it's probably likely to fail. And so taking that top coat off with a mill, even though it's
Okay.
expensive, would probably be more
Yeah,
effective
cause
at
it
a
looks like
long-term
there,
solution.
you can see where the other coat is underneath it, so, I mean,
That's
is
what I
that part of it? But the other thing too with that is you've got a lot of traffic that's going through there and there's no other way to get in and out of there.
Yeah, this type of work be done in a day.
Okay,
You know, they might mill it one day. You can drive it over it immediately and they'll come back and pave the rest in 4 hours. So it's, you know, there'll be a little bit of inconvenience. They'll still be able to get people in and out. But over those short durations, you kind of have to work in
okay.
traffic.
No, I was just saying,
It's a
you know,
fast process.
yeah, okay. No, that's just, it's major over there, so.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was planned for 2028, right?
27, I thought, was it 27? I just,
They were-
yellow,
6, 8, 30.
28, yeah, it just is never gonna, make it.
So if we add that Orinoco Park piece in, it would be about $34,846 is what I come up with.
What's the 34,000 include?
The park,
No, what all does it do?
Well, I did include a work plan that kind of details out all the tasks and hours. Now, this is work that's being done on an hourly basis, so you can kind of see the tasks times the hours times the hourly rates yields the cost. So this is everything from, you know, project management and project setup through development of the plans and specs through, you know, developing the project manual, the bidding documents, advertisement for bids, reviewing the bids, and then overseeing construction and administering construction, bring pay request back to council. You know, working with the city on public engagement and announcements, notifications, all of those types of things.
What's the addition at Orinoco Park? I guess I haven't heard that one until tonight.
Well, we talked about doing the additional pathway in Orinoco Park. I was under the assumption that we were just doing pathway segment number 2 in Riverwood Hills, but we kind of talked about adding the piece in Orinoco Park. And of course, if we add that, that's fine. It just takes me a little bit more time to prepare the bidding documents and oversee the construction and deal with it. So I'm kind of guessing $3,500. We do this work on an hourly basis, so you know, if it's less, if we're more efficient, if the contractor is really good, you know.
So is that what we were talking about, from the parking lot to the pavilion, from the pavilion?
It
To
is.
the outhouse?
and that's where the Lions was gonna contribute some of that for that too, we just don't know how much.
And it'll be a nice improvement. It's just everything costs money.
Yeah, $3,400 seems pretty reasonable.
So in the-
Get that done.
Oh, that's for my cost. That's
Yeah,
not
that's
the
not
construction. I don't, do you happen to
Yeah.
remember what that cost?
Yeah, you had for Orinoco Park, it was about 10,380 for just construction. $1,038 for contingency factor, and then 15% for engineering was $1,557.
Okay, so,
And that
so,
currently isn't in the budget, is it?
No.
Well, we would use our CIP funds for Orinoco Park and Riverhead Park to, assuming that we could try to get them within.
I believe those plans have been in previous Parks and Trails information or packets too.
It's in your packet under the paving section. It's got a drawing of the schematics for Orinoco Park and for Riverwood
I know it was
Hills.
there for.
and what I
That's right
might
here.
also suggest is we'll bring the quotes back if the quotes come in over budget, we can pick and choose what we want to do and work with the contractor to work within the budget.
And that was the top, I mean, I don't know what Lions Club is willing to donate, if it's 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, all of it. Again, I don't know.
So,
So,
So there's some flexibility moving forward.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay.
So it's 17, I don't know.
and I believe you mentioned your memo too, in the second page or the second paragraph that the renewal Riverwood Drive would come out of our annual $50,000 budget.
Yes.
Not the small city assistance that we got a couple years ago. That's covering the major.
That's what I understand from talking to Kane, yeah, and yeah.
is there any state funding for road infrastructure or not really anything?
There is some funding, not for local roads really. We are eyeing some funding for, Lake Shady Avenue. And the reason for that, it's a higher traffic, higher volume roadway, adjacent to a trunk highway. We think that we can put a decent application in and potentially get some money to rehab that pavement. It needs it. I think those,
It was rough shape when they took it when they got it from the state.
it was, yeah, yeah. And so, the application for that grant process is in August, September of next fall. So, June, July, we should start talking about putting together that application.
When we talk about doing that road, are we talking possibly replacing the concrete on it?
Well, there's a lot of options there and they're all expensive. A pavement rehab would be the least costly, but realistically, could you do even a pavement rehab for less than 300,000? Not a big one. The shoulders on that roadway are in need of help.
And there's basically no shoulder on the.
There's a lot of cracks on that too,
Well,
if you do the repaving, will
on
that,
the
will
south
that break
one, there's
back
a lot
down
of
again?
cracks.
Well, the turn lanes will break back down, the shoulder will be break back down. There's a few considerations there, that's an old truck highway. And it's designed was designed to function as a trunk highway. Well, it's not anymore. And so do the turn lanes really need to be as long as they are, for example? Well, probably not. Do the shoulders really need to be paved, at least on the offside? Probably not. So could you afford to let some of that go back into gravel? You could. Is it nice the way it is? Yeah, it is. But you could spend millions of dollars on that to take out the concrete pavement and put something new back. Rehabbing what's there is probably a better, well, I shouldn't say better, it's a more cost-effective option. So, but if we can get some grant funds, well, that makes things a lot more palatable.
But probably in the September, October timeframe is when the application goes in, so we can have further discussion then.
Well, in advance of that even, because it'll take a decent effort to put a good application together.
So to move this forward, for you to do the work to come back in April, do we need a motion for that to have you proceed with?
Yeah, I think that that's appropriate.
After this discussion, but I make a motion, we approve Stantec to proceed with the 2026 street maintenance repairs and pathway improvements work plan specifications.
I'll second it.
Is that the budgeted stuff or is that?
Yeah,
additions or
it's-
additions?
What he's doing, he'll come back with the specs. We'll approve that in May to go out and get bids. No, he'll come back in April, between April and May is when he will go out and get bid. And we'll award the bids in May for this budgeted CIP funds that we have.
As long as it's for the stuff we budgeted, I don't want to see us added more to it.
Yes.
So to be clear, are we or are we not including Orno Park?
Let's get bids
I
on
think we
that
should,
and see
yeah.
what it, but the Timberline one will wait for 2027.
Okay.
So yeah, just that addition of
And then-
Orinoco Park.
We should try to find out what Lions is gonna give us too, so we have that in the
Yep.
meantime.
What's the timberline portion?
Good.
We'll discuss that next year, but right now there's a pathway, there's a piece of city property between Timberline and Sixth Street behind where Joe Fogarty lives.
I'm not familiar with that.
So it's a connection between the residents that live on Timberline that are part of the River Park development, but they don't have access to the River Park.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so they would like to have a paved path, gravel or paved, so they can come down there. Right now they have to go up to Second Avenue, come down Second Avenue, and then go down Sixth Street. So it's a 333-foot path, a short path.
So the trail that leaves River Park now, that just goes up to Cedar Woods too, right?
Yes, just to Cedar Woodlands, yeah.
It doesn't cut up the river. Timberline.
It goes behind those homes, so.
And so if we add $2,500 to that cost, it comes out to 33,846, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's. And so I'll bring that back to you in part in April and part in May.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
It's within there.
So I just wrote no full, also in the next section.
Okay, next item is planning and zoning. And we have a new member. Justin Reesdorfer to join the planning and zoning commission.
Make a motion to accept him.
Second.
For planning and zoning. Would be a good fit.
I'll second it.
Jim, Paul,
And you'll second it first.
Oh,
I'm first, he's second, so.
any other comments?
No.
Are you still short one or?
No, we're still, we're full now, but we might have another vacancy.
Yeah,
that's
we
gonna
have
be-
an opening.
We have.
Oh,
We have an opening.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Okay. Employee relations. So in your packet for your awareness was Jason's resignation notice. So effective April 17th, so he will be missed. We appreciate his service for us and we look forward to his continuing of a city administrator at another city. So wish him well. And along with that is a copy of the contract that we used when we went to look for city administrators, and Mike Humpel from SCSC, your packet for your information of his contract, Jason's contract, and also there's a, at the end of it, the job description for city administrator. So, Maria and I, as the ERC committee, been talking about this, about the next steps, and I think that's, well, first of all, I don't know if we need a motion to accept Jason's resignation letter. So I make a motion, we accept that letter.
You're Mayor, this is Mike. Sorry. No, you don't need to make a motion to accept the resignation.
What's that, Mike?
Sorry, you don't need to make a motion to accept the
Okay.
resignation. You don't need to accept it. Yeah.
Thought Chris told us we did.
Who, Chris did?
Bobby did when we talked to him, but maybe not.
Had in the past, but anyway.
Being you brought up Mike Humble, that contract is over with, correct?
I'm sorry?
Being you brought up Mike Humble, his contract is over with, correct? That was a 2-year contract?
That's part of our discussion on the ERC committee because the contract is like for a 2-year period. And the dates are really close to being together. There's a little bit offset. And he is, I'm expecting, because I raised the question of the 2-year contract and the date of when Jason's leaving. If there's any opportunity to work with us, because we're so close to that time frame. So haven't heard back, but we think there might be some opportunity there. But that's all part of what we like to bring back to the council of our recommendations of either looking at a continuing a city administrator role or interim city administrator. We're reviewing all of the job descriptions with administration assistant, full-time city clerk, Jason, as well as our finance clerk too, that we were looking at that's been approved. And to see, we look at those 4 applications right now, is there too much overlap that we can, are they good descriptions or they need to be consolidated, whatever the case may be. So we're having our Flaherty and Flaherty Hood HR attorney look at those options. So anything else?
I think we just have to acknowledge that we will be without an administrator. Hopefully it's short-lived or we figure out what is needed for the city. Not saying that we should replace just to replace that position, but I think what Ryland said of looking at their job descriptions and having clear role descriptions is going to be key. And it might not be a need for an administrator. Maybe it's a different role or changing in roles. Just to make sure that we're not recreating maybe some of the issues of everyone's trying to work on one thing and it's all in their job description and then no one's accountable for it. So I think that's some of the work that we're doing. I think we might even have an interim step just to make sure that we're not letting anything slip, but get to that long-term idea too. So we might have maybe a phased approach here to make sure that nothing's falling through the cracks as well.
I agree with that direction that there is to take a look at that. And just to identify, there might be other options or different directions to go that makes sense. So I'm glad you're reviewing that and looking at that. So I'm all in favor of looking at that and identifying and discussing with us, with the council. So
LMC does have a list of interim administrators that we'll be getting. I got one. We'll get the latest list, I may put it that way, but so that's a possibility. So. Okay, so that was mainly the reason for putting it in the agenda today, just to let you know that we're starting to have those discussions and bring something back for consideration. So
we're gonna try and have wrap the financial portion up
Yes.
all at the same time. So we won't post for that until. Okay.
And I think what we talked about, again, no decisions, but maybe even, because originally that position was not to post until like June with the idea of bringing someone on in July. If we can find someone, I think we need to escalate that timeline to bring a finance person. And then think about what is that interim support of administrative duties?
Sure.
And what does it look like for current staff and how, but again, I think with Jason leaving, that need for a finance person is now heightened, so I think we need to potentially thinking about hiring and posting and doing that sooner than later.
Yeah, cause I think we start our budget stuff in July, so
Yep.
that would be a.
And LMC does have a list of interim financial officers that we could also look at too. That,
Are those contracted for a certain amount of time? Like, would we say, okay, we'll finish out 26, or is that?
It's negotiable,
Until
it
you-
sounded
yeah,
like from
final
Chris.
deal? Okay.
Yeah, from Chris, we talked to the HR attorney and he made it sound like their contract is very negotiable of time frame, pay, what their responsibilities are. I mean, so I think if we're not finding qualified candidates for any of this, I mean, that would always be an option, but I'm not sure if that's the best long-term solution,
Right.
as we'll just kind of recreate.
Interim administrator, she was required to give a 30-day notice before she left.
Yeah.
When Shirley was there.
Surely,
She gave a 30-day notice before she left, so that gives time to work too, so.
yeah, it's,
And it may be good for just getting us by, you know, as we think about what is the right structure for our city, and maybe it's not having all these positions, but thinking about how do we think about the work differently as we grow and what's gonna be needed versus what we've had today as well. I mean, I know there was a lot of work, Jason did a lot of work, so it's hard to say we don't need that role, but maybe it's different roles within our staff that can help offset that and or think about a different role as well in there as.
yeah, I think this is a good time to do that. So it's an opportune time for taking that look. I agree.
okay. All right. Along with hiring. Unless there's any other comments, we'll move on to the Public Works Assistant position.
Which page are we on now on those?
41. Page 41, I think.
Let me put that up, so 40.
Kane has a memo and,
Mhm.
two candidates, candidate one, candidate two. So with candidate one, I make a motion, we approve the hiring of candidate number one.
I'll second it.
So candidate one has a lot of great experience. You can see in the memo regarding, Kane, do you want to speak to this or
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one, so.
your memo of the?
I didn't write this memo, but I can speak to it.
So we just talked about
Yeah.
his public works experience, I think.
Yes.
Wastewater.
Yep, applicant one, he's got a wastewater D license and a water D license, so he's got about 5+ years of experience. Snow removal, streets and roads, tree planting, tree trimming, past experience, he was an arborist for many years. Great interview, I think he checks a lot of the boxes we need.
Good question, with Class D on the wastewater, what would it take if he's got that many years for him to go to a C?
C, 3. 3 years at an A facility. So 8 to be an A operator.
I'm just looking, because I mean, that would be great to go from a D to a C.
Yep.
Moving us up that direction, which is what we need, so.
Yep.
Excellent. And his availability is, did he say?
You know, he had a family vacation he was already committed to this spring, so we'll have to reach out and get some details there.
Excuse me. Okay.
Or whoever should reach out, Jason maybe, Jason probably.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of candidate number one, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, that's approved.
The next candidate
Go ahead.
The next candidate, applicant two, I guess we could call him, he,
Before you do that,
yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve hiring candidate number 2.
Second.
We have discussion. Okay, go ahead now.
Any comments?
No, I wanted to hear about candidate number
oh,
2.
yeah, candidate two, a younger individual, a lot of, hands-on experience running equipment, different pieces of equipment, excavators, skid loaders, some landscaping experience, some tree trimming experience. Kind of ready to work, ready to start a career off, and you know, I think he shows some promise.
How many years was he working here as previously worked for us as a seasonal?
But yeah, I forgot that he did work for us for a season as a seasonal employee. So he does know the area, he knows the parks, you know, but this is a full-time position. This is the real deal. There's gonna be expectations and responsibilities and everything that comes with that, right? So excited, we're excited for him. He interviewed well, local, knows the area. Seems like a great choice.
Any other comments? All those in favor of candidate number 2, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Kate.
Got a couple good ones there.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Next item, new business, is a motion to approve, I'll make a motion to approve going to .gov platform by June 1st, 2026. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Maria, thank you. So in your packet is a memo from Joe, or excuse me, from Jason, about the transition of Minnesota law.
Memo.
On page 46.
Well, the memo is 2 pages, the attachments are.
Attachments, the other 20.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a effective law by Minnesota that we have to comply with by June 1st, 2026. So, just the transition over to the .gov emails and explains why and all the attachments there.
But it doesn't take any of our content and move it into like ADA.
No, that's a different
Accessible.
law.
Okay.
That's a different thing, and we have till 2027. That's a different one that's coming.
Okay, but this is
So
just
this
moving.
is just the .gov transition. It's a security thing. More secure network going .gov versus .com. So,
Yeah. The government ADA.gov fact sheet goes into a lot of detail of what you can do, what you can't do. Regulation.
Not gonna cost us.
this transition, I think it was about $450 with onsite.
You know, that's all just the onsite thing, so.
See a price on out there.
Yeah, that's,
That reimbursable? Like from federal if they're making.
It's gonna be under our miscellaneous.
Let's do it.
I don't know that the feds are gonna reimburse.
Put it in there. $50,
Right.
please.
Send them a bill. I'll send them an invoice.
Yeah.
On for it.
Is it in the fee schedule?
Sorry, Joe.
two more changes.
Is there anything else we need to look at in there?
No.
Not really.
We gotta go with them anyway.
We can move along.
So,
Boom.
any comments or on that motion?
No.
Nope. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. We don't have a choice. I don't
No,
know.
we don't have a choice.
I said, we don't have a choice. I don't know if we need to vote on it.
Sums it up. That's approved. Thank you. And there's a quote on site for the $450, so I make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
Oh, I think that's part of the process.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was
it.
all part of the
There's a-
process.
Yeah. We had a
That
second.
was already understood, right?
Yeah. Favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item is a motion to approve the monetary limits and liability coverage as listed in Minnesota statute 466.04. Is this an annual thing, Jason, or is this something new?
This is our annual, we went through and revised everything. Every year they send out, and say, hey, look at this, what properties do you have, don't you have? Have you sold, is anything off the books? This just kind of shows that, yes, we went through, we've added this, this and this. Or this has been sold and should be removed.
Now, this includes all titled vehicles and stuff too then?
Yeah.
Yeah, lift stations, any vehicles, buildings, things like that. They would be included in this, so. This is just the renewal portion, the price will come a little bit later. We renew our insurance in May of 2025. So this is the start of that process for them to start getting us the actual numbers. I guess I don't know that anything really needs to be approved in here. More or less, it was just us, this is what we have, and I think the approval would come when we actually get the finalized numbers. So.
You know what we have?
It's in the budget.
It's in the budget, it's usually around 56,000, 58,000, somewhere around there. So.
All through LMC anyway, so it's gonna be. It'll be good.
So I make a motion to approve this.
There's nothing there to approve yet, is there, until we get the.
Well, there is on, I guess, on the first page here, it talks about waiving and not waiving the.
What did I do? Huh? What does I have?
It looks like it's pages,
Yeah, 107.
101 to 107
And
as amounts.
the last one, 107,
71.
no, 107.
I'm trying to remember if we, Mike,
Did
do you remember if we waive the limits or if we don't waive the limits on the insurance? You recall?
I don't think you heard you, Jason.
Can you hear me?
I can kind of hear you. It's a little bit echoey.
Do you remember on our insurance last year if we waive the monetary limits or do not waive the monetary limits?
I don't know what you did. I'm not sure what most cities do either. Somebody had asked me, I think Melissa asked, and I told her to reach out to LMCIT to get an explanation of the difference, your insurance carrier, so that they could explain what the difference is between the waiver and the non-waiver. It probably it's the 466.04 is the Tort Claims Act. It's the statutory limits in the Tort Claims Act, so it limits the liability that cities can have for tort claims by statute. And it's right in there. I clicked on the agenda item. It's right. They copied the statute right in there. So I guess I don't know the strategy behind or strategically why you would want to waive or not waive.
I think we waive it because it allows you to, claim more per claim.
Okay.
If you don't waive it, you can claim no more than 500,000. If you waive it, you can claim up to 2 million.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So you've probably waived it in the past.
I think so. I think we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, nobody's ever really asked me till Melissa did, and I asked her to just inquire with LMCIT so that you had some sort of explanation as to, and And I'm not, that makes sense though. So I guess that's all I can say about it, honestly.
I hear the two paragraph, 2 point bullet points. One says if the member does not waive, one says if the member waives.
$2 million for a single occurrence.
Table this until we get more information.
Well, why don't we just, why don't we just have a council consensus that we do not waive, or check the box says does not waive, and if it's different than that, have it come back to council.
Or I can look at what we did last year and go with what we did last year, if council's okay with that, and I'll let everybody know what it says. Cause I know it was off of the advice of insurance, the insurance company, the last 2 years we've done it, 24 and 25, we've used the same thing. I just don't recall off the top of my head tonight what that is.
I think we want to waive it, not.
Yeah.
Because
But
the
if-
waive it gives us $2 million for single occurrence.
If council's okay with letting me review it, what we've done in the past, look at it and make that decision. That's what we've done in the past, and just let you all know. That's how we can proceed with that.
Yeah.
On the rating survey, Jason, it has total full-time. It's a 6 and then update to 7. Should we update it to 8?
Where, which,
It's on the survey, rating survey responses.
What page?
I'm in diligent, so I'm on page 9 of the.
now I got to see where,
Yeah, so it looks
Page
like,
9 of that.
it looks like it was 6, update to 7. It probably should be 8 full-time.
So I found I found an explanation that might help you, from LMCIT online. It says, that members must decide whether to waive or retain the statutory tort liability limits under 466.04, the Tort Claims Act. Not waiving keeps liability at lower levels, 500,000 or 1.5 million aggregate, reducing premium costs. Waiving the limit increases coverage up to the policy limits that you decide to purchase, but raises the premiums, which would benefit the claimants. And then the impact, if the city does not waive, an individual claimant can recover no more than 500,000, and the total for a single occurrence is 1.5 million. And if you waive it, the single claimant could potentially recover up to the full amount of whatever insurance you purchase.
Is
So-
this kind of in lieu of umbrella insurance?
yeah, it has umbrella insurance into it, has all of it incorporated into it.
So we just need to have a difference on the cost between waive and non-waive is what we need to do.
I wanna say we went with the does not waive to keep the cost lower than the previous years. So, like I said, I can go back and review what's been done the last couple of years and make the decision based off that.
Doesn't mean you can't be sued for more, it just means that's all the League of Minnesota City is gonna pay out.
It also says here, and take this for what it's worth, because I haven't researched it at all, but it says many entities choose not to waive to maintain lower insurance costs and protect public assets. And they have a memo on it here. I'll read you a little bit more. LMCIT gives the city the option of waiving the statutory liability limits. Liability coverage is more expensive if the city waives the limits. The cost difference is 3.5% of liability premiums for members that choose to waive. Waiving the limits does not give the city better protection. The benefit is only to the party who is making the liability claim against the city. So if you waive it, people that sue the city are going to have higher recovery amounts. So there's that.
There's basically no benefit to the city one way or another, other than it costs more for the $2 million.
Yeah, if you waive it, you're gonna pay more and get more. You're gonna pay higher premiums and get more insurance. If you don't waive it, you're gonna pay less but get lower limits. You get the tort claims limits in the statute. That's what it seems like.
Let's find out what the premium numbers are and go from there.
So Jason, you'll look into that,
Yeah.
email us memo.
That'd be great.
Good. Awesome. All right. Page
107, 108.
Yeah, there's a couple things in here that are not. That were added to the agenda for the fire department. Before we go to financials. Page 108, 108 and 109. Before the TIF, so the first one is a fire department. 7.5 horsepower compressor.
Well, that's the stuff that's going back into the city. That's what you bought before, last year. Okay, so it's just being brought into the city. It's already paid for.
That was the resolution that you guys voted on. It was for the side by side and for the air compressor.
So it didn't need to be in the packet or?
Just
Sorry,
FYI?
We already voted on it.
It's in the packet.
Just
It's done.
in the right order. It's not with the other side by side stuff.
So the same thing would apply to the River Valley is the vehicle itself. The Can-Am that we purchased, from
Yeah,
last year.
So in resolution 07, it talks, there's two different whereas. Where we're accepting for the Can-Am and for the compressor.
And this is the compressor.
108's the compressor, 109's the Can-Am.
In resolution 2026-07, it has both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's just,
They just wrong place, yeah.
should have been added back there.
Oh, okay. All right, and then there's a TIF final fund balance. And motion to approve, or I make a motion to approve payment to Olmsted County for $38,529, close out the C.H. Robinson TIF. And Jason's provided a certification,
Second that.
decertification. So the financial impact. Sorry, who was the second?
Me.
I understand. With the check going out for $38,529 from Fund 220. The city would receive $13,000 as unencumbered unpledged revenue after county redistribution.
Well, that's a new fund I'd never heard of before.
For the 220?
Yep, never heard of that.
Yeah, that's been the TIF fund.
Didn't know we had a separate tip.
So it's good to have that paid off and taken care of.
So the money that comes back to the city, where's that end up at?
Part of our property tax revenue. Or seeing that all of their tax revenue.
It says it's unbudgeted.
City.
It says it comes in as unbudgeted revenue, so there's no place for it to go right now. So it'll go
Go to
into
the
the
100.
Depends on the
Because
revenue.
it's part of the TIF stuff technically,
Right.
so it's unbudgeted revenue versus. Next year will be just part of your tax stuff when it comes in with the taxes.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were asking.
It would be more than 13,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll be able to budget for that for 27.
Either,
Yeah, you'll see that in for that.
any other comments?
That'll be revenue coming back into the city then.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. 7:50.
Wow, we're getting better. Not bad.
Right, I told somebody at home, it'd
Mean 10:50? It's, oh, 7:50.
be pretty good. I was right. I said I'd be home in about an hour and a half.
Well, there you go.